Hello, this is the Watchdog, and welcome back to Fun with Watches. If watches weren't fun, you'd only need one. Today we're going to review the Pagani Design PD1671 version 2. Let's start out with the wrist check. I'm wearing this Bernie 2694M. I just reviewed this watch, so if you haven't seen the review, be sure to check it out. And Greg was wearing my Cadola CD1009. Grogu said Han Solo and Princess Leia went on a whitewater rafting trip on a large river on Endor, but it didn't work out well. It wouldn't stop raining, and then Lando Calrissian called Han up and told him he suspects the Empire left incendiary devices in the river. Han told Leia, "We can't go on in this weather with suspicious minds." Alright, let's take a look at the watch. This watch comes in your typical Pagani Design box. This is the same box the version 1 came in. And here it is, the version 2. This time it didn't come with a complimentary NATO strap. This is the second PD1671 on my channel. I reviewed the version 1 several years ago, and I figured that the version 2 was different enough to give the watch a second look. In all honesty, the number one and most significant change between the new version is the dial. The version 1's waffle dial has been replaced with a smooth dial. Another big change is the indices. The Pelagos-like square indices have been replaced with dots that match what Tudor puts on the Black Bay. Another thing too is, like Tudor, it no longer has a date. Pagani Design advertises this as a BB58, but this watch, as well as the version 1, is much closer to the dimensions of the original 41mm Black Bay. About the only thing this has in common with the 58 is the blue and black colorways having coloring close to the 58. The Tudor BB58 proved to be so popular due to its much smaller size, as small this PD1671 is not. The version 2 comes in 3 colorways. If you don't like the all blue, there is an all black with a red triangle around the pip. This matches the coloring of the 58. Tudor just updated the 41 to have white accents. There is also a burgundy bezel with a black dial. Tudor only makes this color in the 41 and not the 58. The version 1 I reviewed has a black bezel with blue gradient dial, but the version 2 doesn't come in that color at all. The watch is 42.2 millimeters wide at the bezel, so this is even bigger than the Tudor 41. It's 49.7 millimeters lug to lug with inverted end links. It's a whopping 15 millimeters thick, so it's even thicker than the Tudor 41. Has a 22 millimeter lug width, which tapers down to 18. And weighs 169 grams on the supplied bracelet with 3 links removed. So this will fit a big wrist. The bezel is a 90-click aluminum unidirectional, and 90-click doesn't make sense mathematically. I wish they would have fixed that for the version 2, but they did not. Another thing too is the bezel action is really, really stiff. It's hard to get a good grip on the bezel, and it's hard to turn. One nice thing though is you'll never knock it out of place accidentally. Then we have the dial. The dial is a flat blue with no sunburst effect. And it's a smooth dial where the version 1 had a waffle pattern. Then we have the Pagani Design logo up top. The version 1 also had the name. Then on the bottom it's printed UGGs. And I can't remember what UGGs stands for, but it's Pagani Design put that on some of their more premium watches, and I guess I better look that up. Just a minute. UGGs stands for Upgrade Grand Series. So once again, I wish these Chinese companies would hire an English speaker to help them out with some of their copy, because UGGs is not a very good acronym. Then it says automatic, 10 bars, 100 meters. So you do not get any more water resistance than the version 1. Then the biggest difference between the version 1 and the version 2 are the indices. These indices look like an actual Tudor Black Bay, where the version 1, they look more like a Pelagos, or the older style Tudor Submariner when they used to release the Submariner. Then we have the minute markers, says Japan movement on the bottom, and then we have the hands. We have your snowflake hands, minute and hour hand, and snowflake second hand, and they look very nice. One thing too is the version 1 had a date at the 3, the version 2 does not, but this is an NH35, so that means there is a ghost date. The Tudor Black Bay does not have a date. Well, some models do, but not the basic models, and definitely not the 58. And I kind of wish that they did have a date. I prefer a date on the watch, and I don't see why they wouldn't have them. Then we have a signed screw-down crown. The crown is nice as far as it sticks out a lot. It's easy to use, but it has this red stripe still. That's one thing they did not fix with the version 2. The red stripe looks fine on the burgundy model, and it looks fine on the black model, but it does not look fine on the blue model. It really sticks out. I don't know why they did that, but the crown action's fine. It unscrews nice, pops nice, and when you go to screw it in, it's easy. Nice big crown. Then we have a dome sapphire crystal, and I say it sticks out enough to consider this a box crystal. And so I don't know if there's AR coating or not, but it's doing a pretty good job of not reflecting. So I think it might have something. And then we have the case. I really like the case, even though it's a really big chunky case. It's brushed on the sides where a real Black Bay is polished on the sides. Then it has this polished chamfered edge, brushed on top, brushed on the bottom. And it's really solid, really nicely built. I like it. And yes, it's big, but sometimes it's fun to have a big watch. Then we have a screw down display case back. It says 100 meters stainless steel, Pagani Design, water resistant. Then it gives the model number right here on the side. I don't know if you can see that very well. A real Tudor does not have a display case back, although they do on their precious metal models. Underneath the case back is the NH35 movement. This is the go-to automatic movement in watches in this price range. It's a 24 joule, 3 hertz movement that hand winds hacks, has a bidirectional rotor, and about a 40-hour power reserve. And they're usually fairly accurate right off the shelf, but your mileage may vary because I'm pretty sure Pagani Design does not regulate them. So you're going to get what you're going to get what you get and not throw a fit. So let's put it on the Timegrapher anyway, because I spent a lot of money on this Timegrapher and I like to use it. Here it is on the Timegrapher. As you can see, this is running fairly accurate. It's only running just a hair slow. But look at that beat error though, 0.9 milliseconds. That's why you see 2 lines on the screen. It would have been nice if there was less beat error. But still, it's running spot on. Now it's at 0. So that's nice. I'd rather have accuracy over beat error. Amplitude's a little low, but still it's running really good considering. The bracelet is a 5-link, considering that these little edges here are separate links. Here, let me show you a link up close. See? But as you can see though, the center links are fixed with the middle links. So it's a 5-link in looks, but not really in practice. It would have been nice if the center links articulated, but they don't. But it's still kind of cool. You get that. You get the look here. You got these polished edges and the brushed middles. Then we have solid end links, and they're inverted. With the version 1, I had an issue where the little fake rivets here would get stuck on the lugs, and that doesn't appear to be happening now, so they must have fixed that issue, or either that I just had a bad one with the version 1. Then we have screw pin adjusters, not push pins. I remember when I was wearing the version 1, I had a screw pin come out on me while I was wearing it. Fortunately, I found it, but I didn't have any tools with me, so I ended up tightening it with my fingernail just so I could wear it home. I much prefer push pins, but people consider screw pins to be more of a premium item, and so I can understand why they do it. Of course, you can put some Loctite on it, but once you put the Loctite on it, that means you're going to have to heat up the watch every time you want to adjust it. Then we have the clasp. The clasp is milled. And look at this, though. We have a diver's extension. This is something that they had on the version 1 also. Now, the version 1, though, I had an issue where the diver's extension was too long and you couldn't close it properly if it was on this hole here of micro adjust, but they appear to have fixed that issue, or once again, either that or I got a bad one. But because of the diver's extension, that's why you only have 3 holes of micro adjust, and they're really close to each other. If it wasn't for this diver's extension, they probably could put another hole right here, and maybe, I don't know why they didn't put another hole there. When it comes to micro adjust, the more the merrier. I really prefer this to the Rolex style clasp because it's so much easier to use the micro adjust. Here's the watch and my 7.5-inch wrist. It looks nice. It wears nice. Yeah, it's big. It's chunky. But look how flat it sits on the wrist. So it's comfortable. But it's 170 grams. So it's a heavy watch. So you want the perfect fit. So I removed 3 links, but then I moved it in 2 holes of micro adjust. So, but it's fitting me about perfect now. So, but yeah, removing 3 links, that means you'll be able to wear this maybe, and plus moving in 2 micro adjust, I would say 8 3/4 you should be able to wear before you need extra links. I just wish they didn't have that red stripe on the crown. Here we are in the Lume room. When I was reviewing the version 1, I was using a cheaper Motorola phone, plus I wasn't speeding up the time for the Lume shot. But when I rewatched my first review, it looks like the Lume is about the same. As we speed up the time, we see the green glow of C3 and the indices are doing quite nicely, but it is the hands and Lume pip that matter, and they are doing quite poorly. Way too many Pagani Design watches have this issue where the hands seriously underperform the indices. You can't tell the time if you can't see the hands. What do I like about this watch? Well, I like the fact that it's solidly built. It's just really sturdy, and it gives you confidence when you wear it. I like this bracelet. They did a really good job with it. I like the brushing on it. I like these little polished side links. And a lot of people aren't fans of the rivets, but I'm fine with it, just as long as I don't have rivets to adjust it, like I did with that thorn, which was a nightmare. And I really like the case. Yeah, it's a big case, but it's so well done. What are my gripes and groans? The red stripe on the crown, it just doesn't go with the blue colorway. I don't mind it on the black or the burgundy, but the blue, it just looks bad. This 90-click bezel is too stiff, plus it's a little bit misaligned. The hand loom seriously underperforms the index loom. And even though I'm a big fan of blue, this blue colorway here doesn't match the blue of the Black Bay 58 that it's trying to match. Here, take a look at the Black Bay 58. See? Look at that color. It's just a much more navy blue, and I prefer that color. Do I recommend this watch? Yes, despite the lousy hand loom, this is a well-built, sturdy watch that looks and wears great and has tons of wrist presence. But personally, I prefer the looks of the version 1. I like the waffle dial, and I prefer the square, more Tudor Pelago style markers. And I like having a date. So I will not be keeping this, and I might one day rebuy a version 1 for my own personal collection because I really do like the watch. Well, thank you for watching my review of the Pagani Design PD1671 version 2, and I will be back with another review or unboxing. Be sure and like and subscribe to my channel. And if you like this watch, be sure to use my affiliate link and I will get a small commission, which adds up. And be sure to check out my Members Choice program. Bye.